Humm Baby.
Enjoy this great game.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. And today, it's time to announce my personal winners of the 2020 main awards for Major League Baseball, including the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and Manager of the Year. These are not exactly predictions. These are my personal winners. So let's get into it. Now, coming into the season, the favorite to win the American League MVP was Mike Trout, and he had a great year, 17 bombs in less than 200 at-bats, 390 on base, but he is going to get an honorable mention for me this season. Also, honorable mention, Jose Ramirez of the Indians hit 17 bombs, 386 on base, 10 stolen bases. Absolutely electric for Cleveland. Caught fire down the stretch, helping his team make the playoffs. Next honorable mention is Shane Bieber, who we'll talk about later because he's obviously going to get another award. But anyway, I considered him for the MVP. That's how good he was. And also, final honorable mention is going to be DJ LeMahieu. He hit 364 with 10 home runs, OPS over 1,000. This was a tough decision. He was so incredible. But my winner of the 2020 AL MVP goes to Jose Abreu of the White Sox, who crushed 19 home runs in a 60-game year. Imagine how many he would have had with 102 more games to play. He hit 317, 370 on base, OPS just under 1,000, played in all 60 games, led the league in hits, led the league in RBI, led the league in slugging, led the league in total bases. My AL MVP for 2020 goes to Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox. Jumping into the National League, close race between three players. First honorable mention, this dude somehow lived up to the incredible hype after the blockbuster trade, sends him all the way to LA. It's Mookie Betts. Just looking at the regular season, he hit 16 home runs, stole 10, drove in 39 runs, and was just a driving force behind this team and their run to a championship in 2020. So great year from Mookie Betts. Second honorable mention goes to Fernando Tatis Jr., who was on his way to the MVP. He started to slow down, still had a great year, 17 home runs, drove in 45, 366 on base. And this guy's just awesome. He can just drive any pitch in or out of the zone, but still has patience to draw walks, gets on base, OPS of 937. And I got to give a shout out to him, Tatis Jr. Also, a couple little more honorable mentions. I got to say, Manny Machado had a great year. Also, Mike Yastrzemski of the Giants. I got to give a shout out to my guys. Donovan Solano hit 326. Great year for him as well. But my NL MVP goes to Freddie Freeman, who hit 341, drove in an incredible 53 runs, scored 51, 13 bombs, and an OPS of 1,102. What a monster year for Freddie Freeman, and he is getting my National League MVP. So now we're moving on to the Cy Young Award winners, and we'll start with the AL, where there are several honorable mentions, including Lance Lynn, Kenta Maeda, Garrett Cole, Hyun-Jin Ryu. They all had great years, but let's be real. Shane Bieber wins it. He is going to win it, and he is my winner. He was dominant start to finish, and I don't think he had one bad outing. The dude was awesome. 8-1 record, 1.63 ERA, and a ridiculous video game-ish 122 strikeouts in 77 innings. This is a fourth-round pick. The Indians really hit a home run with that pick, and Shane Bieber is my 2020 Cy Young Award winner. But in the National League, it is not so cut and dry. There are a ton of possibilities, and I'm going to get criticized big time no matter who I pick. Yu Darvish was awesome. He seemed like a strong possibility most of the year. Dinelson Lamet was dominant for the Padres. Jacob deGrom, absolutely incredible for the Mets. Clayton Kershaw had a fantastic year. Luis Castillo was great for the Reds. But all those guys get honorable mentions. And so do Max Fried and Trevor Bauer. Bauer was 5-4 because of lack of run support, but he was amazing. Gave up just 41 hits in 73 innings, 1.73 ERA. And then you got Max Fried, who gave up just 2 home runs all season long and finished the year 7-0 with a 2.25. How do those guys get honorable mentions, you might be thinking? Who the hell is the Cy Young Award winner? Look, I'm just telling everyone, no matter who I pick, I'm going to get hate. That's fine. I'm ready for the hate. Bring it on. I'm giving it to Corbin Burnes of the Milwaukee Brewers. This man struck out 88 batters in 59 and 2/3 innings. He also gave up just 2 home runs. So 2 home runs all season long. That's it. This guy was incredible. ERA of 2.11 and a FIP of 2.03, which is an indication that that 2.11 ERA is completely legit. This dude was dominant. The Brewers had 0 chance of making the playoffs without him. Giants probably would have made it. This guy was incredible, and I might get a lot of hate for this selection, but you know what? Someone else is going to win the real Cy Young. I don't think he's going to win the actual Cy Young. So the real Cy Young is going to go to whoever you all probably think deserves it. It might be Bauer. It might be Fried. I'm not really sure. But for me, a ton of pitchers are deserving. And I'm going to give it to the guy who I just think was so important for his team in 2020 and had an amazing year. Just an unbelievable story and a great comeback season. And I just want to give the Cy Young Award, my personal Humm Baby National League Cy Young Award, to Corbin Burnes. Now for the Rookie of the Year, starting in the American League. First honorable mention, Christian Javier of the Astros had a great season. No MLB experience at all. He comes in here, starts 10 games, gives up just 36 hits in 54 innings, 5-2 record. And with the Verlander injury and other injuries for the Astros, they needed this guy. And he was awesome, and he helped them to make the playoffs. Great year for him. And also second honorable mention, Luis Robert of the White Sox. He was on his way to winning it. I thought he was probably going to win it. For me, he still might win it. I don't know who's going to win the actual award. But for me, his average dropped to 233, just a 302 on base, still crushed 11 home runs, stole 9 bases, was awesome in the outfield. So he had a great year. But for me, I got to give it to Kyle Lewis of the Mariners, who crushed 11 homers, including 2 in the first 2 days of the season. He ended up with a 364 on base, several phenomenal plays in the outfield. And for me, the AL Rookie of the Year is going to Kyle Lewis. In the National League, I got to give honorable mentions to Jake Cronenworth and Alec Boehm of the Phillies, and also Dustin May of the Dodgers. He was fantastic, but for me, Devin Williams of the Brewers is the guy. 27 innings, he allowed just 1 single run. It's a small sample, but it's a small season. It's a shortened season. And in 27 innings, pure brilliance. 53 strikeouts and an ERA of .33. Over 162, maybe he would have eventually given up some runs and not won this award. But guess what? It was a shortened, weird season. And after that performance, I have to give this award, the National League Rookie of the Year, to Devin Williams of the Brewers. And lastly, the Managers of the Year. And in the American League, I'm going to give an honorable to Kevin Cash. But I think he pretty much does what the organization tells him to. It's very paint by numbers over there, sometimes to a fault. See Game 6 of the World Series. But he's still won 40 games. He had a great year for the Rays. I'm going to give him a mention. And also Dusty Baker. He had a ton to deal with the Astros team. A lot of hate, of course, going towards the Astros with the scandal. And despite a ton of injuries and offensive struggles, he got that team in the playoffs and deep into the playoffs. So big shout out to Dusty Baker. And lastly, Rick Renteria of the White Sox. Even though they parted ways, I thought he did a very nice job. But I'm going to give my winner, a surprising winner here, and it's going to be controversial, but Charlie Montoya of the Blue Jays. He worked so hard for so many years managing in the minor leagues to get this opportunity, and after losing 95 games in 2019 and finishing 4th, he led the Blue Jays to a winning record in 2020 and a playoff berth, even though they lost in the wild card round. And I know a lot of fans don't like him. They want him fired. This is coming from a non-Blue Jays fan. Whenever I watch the Jays, I feel like he does a great job. And he made the playoffs for them. He had a 17-9 record at home, even though they weren't even allowed to play at home. They couldn't play in Toronto this year. All in all, I just think he had a great year. And I'm giving the AL Manager of the Year award to Charlie Montoya. And finally, the NL Manager of the Year, I got to give an honorable mention to Dave Roberts. Another huge year for LA. Obviously, their roster is ridiculous, but he still did a great job. So shout out to him. And Gabe Kapler of the Giants had a nice year. I'm satisfied overall with his performance. And the last shout out to the Padres, Jace Tingler, rookie manager who kept his team super relaxed, determined, focused, having a lot of camaraderie, and it was just a great team this year, no doubt about it. The only problem I have with him is when Tatis Jr. got in big trouble for swinging at a 3-0 pitch, and he didn't really stand up for him. I really wanted him to speak up and say, hey, this is stupid. Get out of your feelings. He saw a pitch he liked, and he hit a home run. Get over it, but he didn't really do that. So I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to the guy who took a Marlins team that was supposed to be terrible and led them to a winning record, a second-place finish, and a playoff run where they swept the Cubs. But even just looking at the regular season, he was dealing with a lot with a huge COVID outbreak, and I'm not going to blame him for that. Don Mattingly, he is definitely deserving. He took a Miami Marlins team that was supposed to be terrible and finished last to the playoffs with a winning record. Don Mattingly, to me, is definitely deserving, and he is my 2020 NL Manager of the Year. So that does it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Just wanted to get these out there really quickly. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know everyone's going to disagree, especially on my NL Cy Young Award winner. I already know that. I'm going to get a ton of hate. But let's be real. All these guys, any one of these guys could win it. I have no idea. For me personally, I wanted to give it to Corbin Burnes. I feel like he's deserving, and I thought he was awesome. So I'm giving it to Corbin Burnes. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate that. We're trying to get to 5K right now, and that would be awesome if you could hit that subscribe button. So you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. See ya.
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.